All right, so our speaker today, I had the pleasure of meeting her at the Whole Life Festival a year ago, I think, yeah, the spring. Oh my gosh, I can tell you, if Mary Nelson was going to find a young pal to hang around with, because Mary was super into astrology, right? Lynn Lockner would be her pal. It's true. All of our library, big section of astrology was all Mary's, and Lynn just kind of fell in love with it. But anyway, what I do love about Lynn is her passion for astrology. I had a reading from her, and it was so amazing. And it's like a guidance and a pathway to what your life is happening right at the moment. So just wanted to pass on that she is available to do some readings, and I put her number on the website, and she's here now. But I'm going to just read her short bio. Lynn Lockner's journey with astrology came in tandem with her baptism into motherhood. Mm-hmm. The layers of intensity of learning both akin to drinkin from a fire hose in her experience. Mm-hmm. Lynn was raised Christian and Episcopalian, and as a young girl asked questions and peered into darker corners that ended up getting her into trouble. How many of us can relate to that? As an adult, studying astrology now grants her the ultimate implement to innerstand, a holy science connecting letters, numbers, math, science, frequency, patterning, to synchronize a lifelong love of singing and playing music with that which underscores all languages, mythologies, religions, work of art, and spiritual practices, to just name a few. So today she's going to be talking the salts of salvation and the anATOMical song of the 12. Please give Lynn Lockner a big Adam.
I misspoke, and I would love a writing implement or something that I could draw the path of the sun and then a circle, so I can just remind us about. I have to even use one of these.
We will get you set up.
Well, while we're doing that, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. This is like a dream for me. I love astrology. I got a reading, it was 6 years ago, for my children, my husband, and myself. And it was very basic. It's the first time I'd ever seen a chart. I'd looked up my sign before, but I didn't understand the actual, the sky, that you're looking at the sky. And it was the first time that it really struck me, seeing my children's charts. And it was, I think for me, making contact with the part of our body that is a circle, the one part of our body that is a circle, and actually looking at the chart. There's something that happens in that. We're so used to being accustomed to 90-degree angles and squares and architecture that is complementing the hue. But what did we all start with in kindergarten? What was the shape we all started with? It was a circle.
Circle.
And what do we do? We can easily, if I ask you to make a circle, you can step into a circle like that. If I ask you to make a square, everyone's going to be like, well, who's going to be in the corner? And okay, but that side's longer. It's really easy to make a circle. And what do we do when somebody new comes in? We all step away and we make room, right? It's the easiest shape. And it's the most playful, fun shape. And also, you can fit a cube in a circle, whereas a circle doesn't fit in a cube.
Lynn,
my writing is still there from last time.
Oh yeah, I know when I erased it.
Oh,
Sorry
that's
about
okay.
that.
No, it's great.
I think this is okay. There you go.
Thank you. Okay. So first, I'm gonna change it up a second. So first off, where do we get the chart? Where do we get, what does it all mean? Where does it come from? Everyone's familiar with the meridian, right? Meridians. So, and we are in this sign, right? We're in the season of Aries right now.
Well,
Little flimsy.
did that just start today?
No, it started March 20th.
Oh, okay.
March 20th is the first day of spring.
Alright.
So, the sun rises daily and annually in the east, right? So, comes up like this to the Tropic of Cancer, and down to the Tropic of Capricorn, and then back up. Okay, so the sun rises it's the right ascension of meridian, okay? It's on the right side of the meridian, right ascension meridian. It's where we get the ram. The ram of Aries is the right ascension of the sun, okay? Then, and what does sign mean? Where do we get that word from? Sine wave, and also signal, because every day the sun is making a different signal. And we're really talking about 4 different frequencies, breaking them into 3 different four elements and 3 frequencies.
It's definitely flimsy.
Well, and I'm clumsy. I'm a Pisces rising, so my feet are kind of all over the place as a Pisces rising. Okay, so Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. This is when the sun falls into autumn. That's when we get the fall. That's why we call it the fall, because the sun is falling.
Huh.
It all connects.
It's not about the leaves falling?
That too, exactly. Because the leaves are following the path of the sun. The sun infuses right now. It's calling. It's just whispering, "Hey, come on." And the budding leaves are like, okay. They're listening to this frequency. They're picking up the rays of the sun that infuse it with a salt. And that's where everything that grows from the sun is infused with a certain frequency, which is a salt. It's a crystal. And when we take in that frequency, when we eat that food, we get that frequency. But we have to eat food that is alive, that's charged with the energy of the sun. We have been coerced out of that. And so I'm here to sound the horn to start really thinking about everything that you're doing, everything you're taking into your body. Aries is the head, but it's also the nose, and it's ruled by Mars, and Mars actually connects with Mars actually rules Scorpio as well. Scorpio rules the parts of our body that release things, that digest and release. And the nose controls what we move towards. Like, that smells good. What is that? You know? It's the nose that informs you a lot of times of what is beneficial for your body. And it's also the nose, I learned in the Whole Life Festival, that it's what connects us with our past life, with our instincts of what we want to move towards, or what we're like, oh, no, that scent is not for me. The nose is so powerful. It will guide you towards what you want to eat, who you want to commune with, speak with, and the nose is what drives this season. It's what wakes all the animals up, because the sun is stirring things to wake up. The bear wakes up from the nose. All of the animals are stirred into action, not thought. They don't wake up and like, what do I want to do? They're like, instinct, I need to eat, or I need water. They're smelling to get them into motion. And that is the same for us. The sun is, at this point, at this crucial point, that's where we get Easter. because the sun rises in the east. The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, has been responsible for the creation of the calendar. The calendar is all set around the creation of Easter, which follows the vernal equinox on the first full moon every year. If you look at every historical Easter that there is, it falls on the first full moon following the vernal equinox every single year. And the Roman Catholic Church knows this because they plan the calendar every single year. And this planning coincides then with an activation that we get from the star Sirius, which is a binary system that informs and feeds our sun. It also connects with Jupiter, which is a great benefic planet, and feeds our system with gold. Gold does not come from the earth. It comes from somewhere else. So, and it comes from us, because it's in our heart. We have anatomic gold in our heart. We have the minerals, we have the cell salts all in our body, because we are creator beings made in the image of the Creator. And so this season of Aries, the whole earth, all of creation, is, if you study the pine tree, we're getting an activation that's similar to the pine tree. The pine opens up and it lets out this pollen, and the pollen gets in the water, it gets all over the animals, it gets all over everything, and it nourishes, and we get a similar activation in our pineal gland. That's why it's called the pineal gland. It's very similar to the pine tree. We're getting a certain amount of pressure similar to everything in creation. And our pineal gland, if we're breathing correctly and using our nose, not just to go fill up our bellies and go consume, but to bring in the energy that the sun is creating, all these salts, all the life that is starting to emerge. If you pay attention to that and you meditate with that and you bring it into your system, you will get this activation, and your pineal gland will release, it's called pineolin, and it's similar to the pine tree. It's the same thing the pine tree is releasing. Our pineal gland does the same thing, and it's this time of year. That's why Easter is so sacred, and it, to people that are in that story and in that chapter of ritualizing this time of year with the church, they follow a different story, but the true Easter is astrological, and it has everything to do with the sun and an activation that we get in our pineal gland, which has to do with the head, and has everything to do with breathing through the nose, not the mouth. We are supposed to eat and consume with the mouth, not the nose. We are, who can tell me how much nitrogen is in the air?
Go ahead.
71%.
78%.
78%. I knew that.
A lot.
Close enough.
So when we're breathing through our mouth, we don't get that nitrogen, and we don't get the nitrous oxide, which is what nourishes and feeds our body. So it's so important to pay attention to what you're smelling and pay attention to how you're breathing. And remember, we're in Aries season. This is about nose goes first. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Take a deep breath in, breathe through the belly, expand. This can cause this time of year can cause a lot of anxiety because it is Mars ruled, and it's just about action. It's not about thinking first. We kind of need that this time of year to kind of wake up our bodies and move and get things started. But the sun is in exaltation. It doesn't rule Aries. It's an exaltation. So it's something that it's to celebrate. It's not actually to decide what we're going to do and run off and get it started. It's waking up, breathing, welcoming the scents and what we're noticing with our eyes, the colors that are starting to emerge, and just breathing that in. So, okay, back to the sine wave. So this is the sine wave. As you can see, it is a wave. It is not binary. It's not, we come back, we just do this, right? It continues. It's a cycle. And I want to harken back to what Dawn was saying in the treasures that we have here. I would like to take away from just the word age altogether and look at your life in terms of cycles. If you are more advanced in your cycles, you've had 2 Saturn returns. You've had your Uranus opposition, and a lot of people don't live through that. A lot of people don't even live through their first Saturn return. It's difficult. And with astrology, there's nothing that's either good or bad. It's easy and it's a little more difficult. And these cycles that you get into when you get more experienced in life, you can tell a tale or two. You have a lot of wisdom to give. So I would encourage you to stop thinking about age and time. Think of yourself as a timeless soul that is patterning and cycling through life and gaining wisdom and experience. And that is, you can't put a cost or a price on that. When we think about the word currency, it's a current in the sea that is us. It's not something outside of us. And if you are focused on building your current sea in your body, you will attract more abundance. When you're trying to get the currency that's out there that the rich people have or whatever, that's you'll be chasing something that you'll never get, and not finding the gold that is in you, that's inherent. Wherever you go, you just tap in and listen, and it's there. When we have this sine wave, we ask, oh, how do we get to a chart then? And what does a chart look like? Because when you pull up a chart, you're gonna be like, what? What is this? Because they've taken us away from the sine wave, which is Aries. We're talking about a sign and a signal from the sun. It is the key of G, and tons of original people. They've interviewed people. They've gone into primitive tribes and asked, and conclusively they say that the sound of creation is the key of G, which is also F sharp minor, and that's a whole different conspiracy. But when you pull up a chart, interestingly enough, they're all named after Catholic monks. Isn't that interesting? But the Catholic Church says that astrology is bad, right? Interesting. Here's another interesting. This is the ascendant, the line of the ascendant, and the descendant. AC/DC. Sound familiar?
Nah.
Electricity, right? The current.
And the band, AC/DC.
All right.
That
Oh.
they're bad and they're satanic, and I'm here to kind of sound the horn on rock and roll and the guitar, which is a G-based guitar or G-based instrument. The piano is a C-based instrument. When you play piano, or anybody in here that's learned piano, you start with the C. It's all around the C chord. With the guitar, which is in the shape of a G, and who else has a G in their signia?
God.
God and the Freemasons, because they knew. They knew. They're keeping the secret until the time is ready, and the time is ready right now. Kali Yuga is up, and so I'm going to go into that later, because does anybody know about Robert Johnson, about the story of Robert Johnson and how he went down to the crossroads and met the devil?
Oh, yeah.
And the devil taught him to play the blues.
Was that in Georgia?
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
Another G.
I do play banjo too. Next time maybe I'll do a little of that.
Actually, I think it was the violin.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the confusing thing is what I just showed you with the sine wave, you would think that then Aries would be right here in the first sign, because what we're doing is we're combining the oscillation of the top with the bottom. So we get, this would be the Ram, right? And then Taurus and then Gemini. But for some reason, the way that all of the charts lay out, they put Capricorn at the top when it should be at the bottom. It's like all upside down. And this is how all astrology charts are. Like, this is where the first house is for some reason. It should be here, but they flip-flopped it. If you want to know why, ask the Catholic Church.
That's what
I'm not kidding. They have a lot of information, and the Vatican is starting to open up their library, which is represented by Pisces. And we're kind of in this flip-flop right now of Pisces season. And I would just say that, like, what's going on with the library here is completely supported with the astrology and will be resolved and will have a home within a year. I can definitely say that. And yes, the library here is absolutely incredible. There are more astrology books in circulation in the world. There's more astrology books than any other topic in the world. It all started with astrology. Religion, all religions were informed by astrology. Music, dance, mathematics, sacred geometry, all of it started with astrology. So, and I can tell you, I have never seen anything in Alaska like what we have here. And it is an incredible resource. So absolutely, let's take pride in that. And on that topic, I wanted to say this last time. Yes, I'm an astrologer, and there are more out there, and don't be intimidated. Like, we need more. We need you all to come alive. We need you all to, like, wake up and realize what your makeup is astrologically and what gift you have. Because this time of Aquarius is a time for everybody to be baptized with astrology and understand what your astrological makeup is. What cell salts do you need? What and your chart will tell you. I mean, there's indicators. Our Creator gave us signs and signals to tell us, to guide us. If you feel lost and you don't know what you're supposed to do, there's a positioning in your chart that will guide you very gently. And it's always kind of like what? Well, I kind of knew that and I've been doing that, but you will get this like gentle nudge from the universe or God. You feel like you're just known by Creator. You're like, how? And whoever reads your chart, God will come through them. It's the logos of the astro, that which is spoken into being through the luminaries. That's what astrology means. It's not some kooky dooky pseudoscience. It is the precious science that informs every other science in the world, every other study of that. So when you look at a chart, this is going to be your first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th.
It is weird how it's opposite what you would think.
It is weird.
Yeah.
So you just have to know that that's one of the things I think they've made it free. You know, you can log on to any website and pull up a free natal chart. But nobody knows what it means, and nobody understands the layout because they flip-flopped it. And they've put Saturn at the top, and Saturn's not bad. Saturn is also Satan, and Satan rules this realm, just like Saturn rules this realm. Saturn is matter. Saturn is it's Earth. It's what rules this. Yeah, exactly. It's not bad, it's matter. What's the matter? Nothing's the matter. It's Saturn. Exactly.
You spoke a moment ago, and I'm really a novice in astrology, and doing those books back there has really perked my interest, so I was really excited about hearing you talk today.
Yay.
But you said a moment ago about the Saturn return. What does that mean?
That means, so based on where you have Saturn in your chart, when you pull up a free chart, this is what you're going to see, and you're going to see all the signs listed here in the wheel. They'll be out here. The signs are like a clock, and they move every 2 hours. So the rising sign is where what sign was on the horizon. This is the horizon, which means Horus, the sun, eye on the sun. That's what horizon means. Horus, eye on the sun. So the word itself means something astrological. It's what was on the horizon. So Saturn will be wherever it is in your chart. Let's say it's in, say it's down here. He's got like a sickle thing. Saturn takes 30 years to do a revolution, okay? So every 30 years, Saturn's going to come back to the same sign and the same place in your chart. And that can be a time of, if you've not been doing the work, like Saturn, I like to liken Saturn to like Gandalf. And he's like, you shall not pass until you do the work, until you are showing up. And my Saturn is in Virgo. So until I became disciplined with a daily exercise that I was doing, and bringing astrology into the body and the processes of the body. What other things? When I had my Saturn return, my first one, it was very much physical. It had to do with my body. So wherever Saturn is in your chart, it's in a sign, and that sign is ruled by a planet. So you want to look at the planet that rules that sign. So for me, for Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and I needed to look at Mercury to see what are some ways that I can, how could I express this this energy in my life? Well, Mercury is conjunct my sun, so speaking about it and teaching about it, and creating a little channel, which was very scary for me because I was like, I'm a busy mom and I don't want the attention, and I don't really want the business either. I just want to teach. I really want to share this. But it's different for everybody. And you might have Saturn in its actual rulership because Saturn rules 2 signs, Aquarius and Capricorn.
I'm an Aquarius.
So it could have been a really profound time of like you being put on a stage, or like just things coming together in a way that like, oh my gosh, I'm starting a new profession altogether, or moving to a different location, because Saturn in Aquarius is international travel, and it's breaking the rules, and it's rebellious, and yeah, so it can mean a lot of different things. And if you're not showing up and doing the work, there's I just learned when Jesus was talking about belief, it was we have the word wrong. It was beliveth. If you just beliveth, if you beliveth the truth.
And what does beliveth mean?
Live.
Thank you.
And the truth, okay, this is the cool thing about Western astrology, and this is why the Freemasons were all, like all of DC is designed with Western astrological placements in mind for activation in the city of DC. We have one of the biggest zodiacs in the entire world at the feet of Albert Einstein, outside the Science Observatory, and then there's a zodiac inside of the observatory itself. But we have at least 30 zodiacs in the state of, or in Washington, D.C., more than anywhere else in the world. Why is that? Aren't you curious? Don't you want to know? You know?
Yeah.
So
Those
I
are
would-
paid for by tax dollars.
well, and it goes back to like George Washington. He picked the very site where that zodiac now sits at the feet of Albert Einstein's bronze statue. He picked that spot, like, and it was the Foggy Bottom. There was nothing there. It was like just like a swampy mass. There was how would they have known? How? So in the season of Aries, I would like to encourage you, and in this season of transition that the Atom Center is in, to get curious, to ask questions, not be like, well, I already know that. Well, that's done. That's decided. Question. The question opens up your thinking to your right side of your brain, your feminine side, which is creative and can encompass the left side. And then maybe you keep questioning, you might move into wonder, and that moves you into the heart. And then maybe keep curious and keep asking, and you might move into just awe of how amazing the possibilities are when you just keep asking and keep curious. Okay, so I had a question. Yes.
I can save it to the end if you don't want to address it now.
Okay.
But I just had a flash. If you took the year or the month that Atom as an organization was created.
We did that.
Well, you did.
Lynn and I did that, but that's for another time.
Okay, that's
She's
what
got
I
an
said.
amazing presentation.
Yeah,
but
no,
we did
I mean,
do our,
I wasn't
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
sure.
derail you. I was just
Yeah.
maybe,
You
you
had
could
this-
just at the end just say, yes, that's possible, and we make its own birth chart.
Yes. And I'd happily touch on that.
And we want you to play the guitar too.
Yes. Okay. What did I wanted to explain. Did I address your
You're
question?
talking about Washington and all the zodiacs.
Into the heart and then Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have been in a I love the song by Madonna, Living in a Material World, and I substitute Saturnian world when I hear that, because material is Saturn, it's matter, it's not bad, but it is the lowest form of vibration, and it is at rest, it does not move, right? It's inert. So we're coming out of that, we're coming out of a Saturnian world, and also, if you look at a scale of a G scale or a C scale, they both include each other. They're both one and the same. Just like if we're looking at a wave, this is the result of the wave. There's no ending, there's no beginning. Just like your birthday is a solar return every year. And if you look at it astrologically, you'll get something way different than just celebrating a day. Because it's not just a day. If you look at the actual time that that the sun comes back to that specific degree that you were born in, and it'll give you a range, it'll give you a time range of when the sun is in that degree. And you walk outside, even if it's nighttime, and just breathe and look for a sign, and you get a sign. Or something happens. When you're curious and you ask, you'll get something every time, but you have to engage with it. And you don't necessarily even need a reading. You don't have to work with an astrologer. That's why the Bible was saying, like, astrologers are bad and astrology is bad, because it's not something that, like, I'm not supposed to profit by sharing this wisdom with you. We're all supposed to share it. We're all supposed to have it. We all have a little piece of the pie. We're all representatives of this entire thing. You're not just your sun sign. You are a complex, beautiful, patterning, growing, changing being that's here to create, and you're constantly creating. So if you know more about yourself, you will be able to know all the secrets of the universe. But you have to start with you. You can't just like go study astrology, go study somebody else, go study Washington, D.C. You got to start with you. You got to put you in the center of the pie and look out and see. And that, like, there's that saying, I have my truth and you have yours, but the real truth is meeting up in the middle, or something. That's a rough form of that quote, but that to me is the zodiac. Like true power is integration of opposites. It's not just being your slice of the pie. And also your slice of the pie is owned by a planet, and you need to see where that planet is in your chart to understand what kind of sun sign you are. Maybe you were born at nighttime and you're more your moon sign, and you would be, I think everybody would be well served understanding more about their moon sign. The sun sign astrology is so exhausted, and it's so bastardized, really. It's such a beautiful thing, and yes, please.
Is it the moon sign that changes every 2 hours?
The moon sign changes, the moon does 13 degrees a day, so she moves the quickest. She does what the sun does once a year.
Is it the one that changes roughly every 2 hours?
Not every 2 hours. It's the moon, the rising sign changes every 2 hours. So
What's
today,
the difference between the moon sign and the rising sign?
the moon is a planet. It's not a sign.
Okay.
So the planet is going to, it'll show up like a little glyph of a moon. The moon's going to stay in that sign and move with it. But the moon is also moving 13 degrees a day. So it spends about roughly 2.5 days in each sign. And it goes around it does a revolution once a month. That's where we get the word month, is from moon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all astrological. It really is. So we've been living, this is Capricorn. This is the sign that Pluto just moved out of and moved into Aquarius. And Aquarians, you are going through a massive transition right now. I mean, everybody has Aquarius in their chart. So wherever Aquarius is in your chart, we're all going through that transformation individually. But especially Aquarians are just, Pluto is a reckoning and a purification like none other. There's a reason why he's called like the god of the underworld, because he roto-roots and he comes and just takes everything out and purifies. And it's not always a pretty easy process. That's why he rules Scorpio. So we have been sort of massively under the influence of a Capricornian government, religion, making us more, even in our education, focused on what is versus the possibilities and the subtle bodies and the true influence that really guides us. We've been focused on pretty much the lowest form of matter. And Pluto is here to take us back into the age of knowing, and knowing coming from within. So why do I bring this up? Because Capricorn is the C chord, and it's an interesting way to go back and look at Beethoven, Bach, Mozart. Look at the instruments they used and look at what key they wrote their music in. A lot of times the key will tell you the time of year, like Vivaldi. Vivaldi's 4 seasons are very much in line with the first 4 seasons, the 4 cardinal seasons of the year. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But also look at if they are using the piano, because there's a lot of classical piano, and whether they're using a lute or a flute, because those are connected with Jupiter and Jubilee. And that's where we got the flute and the lute. It's a Jupiterian G-based instrument. So, with that said, and I realize I'm really short on time, so I mean, I could go.
We're gonna go till 11 for sure, Lynn.
Oh, okay.
You have so much information now.
I do. I really haven't even started. Okay.
We
So-
need a couple workshops from you.
Yes,
Sure.
yes, I would love that. I would love that. Yes, I love your structure. So the saying goes, or the story goes, and I think there's a Netflix show about this right now, oddly enough, that Robert Johnson, he was a blues guitar player, and he was really good, and he had a really tough life, and he disappeared. He kind of got thrown out. He was, I think he was drinking a lot at this point, and he went on a sojourn and apparently met the devil at the crossroads. And if we know the devil is Satan, what could Satan have done? Well, this is what I find interesting. The devil said, "Hand me your guitar." And so
Was it a fiddle? Was it a guitar?
it was a guitar.
Oh,
And he handed him his guitar, and the devil retuned it. He tuned it in a different way. And this is the basis for all blues and sort of jazz. Gets into jazz as well, because they were breaking the rule. They were playing a chord that was banned by the Inquisition. And it was the F chord. The F chord, which
Isn't
is
that where they went from tuning it from 432 to 440?
it is a hard chord.
So
It's so
hardcore.
hard. Yes. But sorry, what was that, Phil?
I said, isn't that where they went from 432 to 440?
That happened in the 40s, and that's a whole different. Yes, they did change that. So they added 8 onto it. They made it an A instead of a G, and from then on, I mean, and you have to be careful. You can look up any kind of tuning you want on YouTube, and they will tell you. But you got to say tune to an open G. That's what I have my guitar tune, and this is what the blues players all use. Rolling Stones, Howlin' Wolf.
AC/DC?
I don't know about AC/DC because they're rock, and rock is the C chord. But blues, which the blues informed rock, right? The blues is what started Elvis and, but it started with Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Robert Johnson, but so it all started with the retuning of the guitar to the open G, because when you have an open G, and I have my slide, but I'm not going to use it. So you've seen somebody with a slide, and they can. I mean, it's so easy to play, and it's so fun to play. But unlike the piano, I can get everything just by doing that. Where the piano, you got to go up, right, with the G. This is where we got the G string. It all started with this. This is a G string, and this is G. And the G spot is at the crossroads. And if I had a flamenco or a classical guitar, which this is not, the crossroads would actually be here at the body of the guitar. The 33rd fret.
Oh, wow, sacred number.
Yes. Exactly. Yep. And this, so from here to the bridge is 66 centimeters. And if you measure the crossroads on a classical or flamenco guitar, it's 33 centimeters, because that's the crossroads. That's where Jesus was crucified at his 33rd birthday. And that is the vertebrae where the rising of the chrism oil takes place with the Kundalini process. So it's all connected. Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So the really neat thing about guitar is, and I would love to do this in my life, is just buy guitars and go give them to people. Just start creating, please, because we get guitar comes from Tor, which is a torus. Every time you're playing the guitar, you are creating a torus field. You're enacting this vortexing toroidal field, and that's what musicians are creating.
What about the bass?
Oh, definitely the bass. Absolutely like to a whole different degree, right? It's going to resonate in a whole different area of your body. Yeah, any stringed instrument is going to be more of a free form G-based instrument, not C. And you can tune this to a C, but with an open G, I can play so many combinations of songs. The G is G, C, and D are the basis of every song out there. I'm trying to think of like classics, but I love like America and Paul Simon,
Bob Dylan.
Gosh, they're all C, D, G songs, all of them. Van Morrison, yes.
What about Prince and Sting and Bowie? Some of those guys that had some pretty detailed.
Yep.
Did they start with that?
Yes. Yep. And they were all keeping a secret.
What?
Just playing chords that they weren't supposed to play. And like just like rubbing it in, like rubbing it in the face of like, I'm gonna I think Led Zeppelin was actually like told not to play a certain song at one of their famous concerts, and Robert Plant went out and was just like gesticulating in front of the crowd, like on the G string, to just rub it. It's a whole different way of looking at music and getting curious. So go look at one of your favorite artists and see. You can pull it up. You can Google it. What key is this written in? And it'll tell you like. If it's written in the key of D, that's Scorpio, and it's Mars, and it's
Stevie Wonder.
oh, Stevie Wonder. That's
His songs,
so deep.
like when you hear them, you can feel deeply.
Yeah.
So,
Could you repeat what she
Yes.
said so that everybody can hear?
Stevie Wonder, just Stevie Wonder's music. The sound, if you listen to if you start listening to music and listening to the lyrics, not as a love song between a man and a woman, but thinking of it like the right brain and the left brain, and or any of the dichotomies in the chart, because that's what this whole life is about, is bringing together our dark and our light, our opposites, what we think is binary, and it's all one. It all circles up into one. John Denver, I actually had the occasion, I got to sing with him when I was in third grade, and I didn't know I was trying out for a solo with him. I was in a really strict competitive children's choir, and I got to sing with him on stage at Fiddler's Green in Denver, Colorado. And so I've always loved his music, and then getting to sing with him, and now going back to study his music. It's all in the key of C and G and D. It's like and when you know that, and then you're reading the lyrics, you'll read the lyrics in a different way. You'll experience the music in a totally different way, because these artists were keyed into the secrets of music and vibration and what it does. And go look and see where the F sharp minor is used, and in so many blues and jazz artists, as a middle finger to the Inquisition and the Church. And a lot of artists that were taken out of circulation or didn't make it past the Saturn return, the 27th year is when that usually happens. They call it the 27 Club, because they challenged the system too much, and they activated people, so they had to be taken out because they're getting too much, creating too much of a resonance, and waking people up, waking up their Kundalini energy. Yes, did you have a
Were
question?
you familiar with Laurel Canyon?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's another subject, but.
Yes, deep, that's it, yeah. There's a standard tuning that really doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not gonna try and go into that right now, but that's how I learned was with standard tuning, and then you make a lot of chords. You learn chords and you learn bar chords, but when you do the open G, you can create. You are literally starting with a I'm making a torus field right now. And then the dots are universally placed in the key positions that make the chords for the open G. But nobody knew that until Robert Johnson. This is an open G. I don't have to do anything with my fingers. I could play a song right now. I could sing a song just with G. So this would be Aries season. This is Aries. This is what's playing right now in the sun. This is Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. This is Sunshine, Virgo, the Virgin, the only human being in the zodiac. There's something very, very special about the Virgin. This is where the sacrifice takes place, and we move down into the hell realm. This is heaven, this is hell. Virgin, Libra, the scales. This is where the fall happens. Scorpio, this is the devil, D chord. This is Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter also. Capricorn, Aquarius, and these were the chords that the Inquisition didn't want us to play. Pisces, and there's no harmonic here. Where the dots are, you get a harmonic, so you can play a chord, or I can play. And my this string actually makes a little bit of contact with my fretboard, so it doesn't make the clearest harmonic, but there. So there's the G chord, and here's the G harmonic at the crossroads. So it goes Pisces, and then we return to the octave, which is G. So this is so much fun. You can play and play and play. You can play so many songs. You could look them up and play the chords, C, D, and G, super easily. Would you like me to play a song?
Sure. Please.
Okay. I was trying to think of. I was gonna play. I thought about playing This is for all the lonely people by America. Thinking the lives left them dry. Because to me that song is about taking the journey. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup. The silver cup is when the sun is in its exaltation in Cancer and Leo, and it's also just the culmination of what you go through every year. We all go through a cycle of birth and death. It's every single year. And if you feel lonely, let it pass. Wait, it'll pass. Something else will come, because every day the sun gives us a new vibration, a new frequency, and it's just a simple matter of tuning into it. Going inward, going outside, letting the sun just hit your face, breathing, and seeing what comes. Stay curious, and know that the answers are always around you. It could be just a day away, it could be just in how time moves. It could be an hour away and things shift and the sun shifts a little bit or we shift. But time is not linear. It is cycling. We're doing this. And we're coming out of the lower vibrational sludge that we've been in. It really is time to drain the swamp, and that's what's happening. And it's not easy. And it's not natural. It doesn't feel, it's always jarring when it happens. But we're all going through it together. We're all going through it individually in our own ways. We've all been through it with our families. There's so much to gain by looking at your chart and seeing your astrological makeup. You'll see your father, you'll see your mother. They're all in archetypes in your chart. And you will feel the love of God, because you are created in the image of this beautiful atomic structure, sacred geometry, and you have it all inside. It's like this is you. This is a seed, a great acorn, or a mighty oak grew from the tiniest little potential. And that's what you are. And the more you know this, the more you grow into it. So, I think I'll play one of my favorite songs. It's by John Prine, who originally wrote it. And this is Susan Tedeschi covered this this song, and I love her version. So this is called "Angel from Montgomery." And angel actually means angle. All the angels are all of the archangels are generated by planetary forces and the sun, the luminaries. So again, we have that in our chart. We have that in our sky. We have that in our life, in our atomical structure, in the salts in our bodies, in our cells. We truly are just the most magnificently created beings, getting to share our toroidal field with all these other emanations of creation. It's just remarkable. And if you are moved to start playing guitar, go get yourself a guitar and tune it to an open G and start playing music, start singing, start creating. That is what we're here for, and that is what this time is for. It's knowing yourself so that you can create. You can create more emanations, more ripples in the pond around you that are truly who you are. When you're creating more ripples like that, you find more congruence out there. You resonate with people in a different way, and you call maybe better fits into your pond for your astrological makeup. So. With that said, this is Angel from Montgomery by John Prine. I'm an old woman named after my mother. An old man is another child that's growing old. It dreams with thunder, lightning was desire. This old house would have burned down a long time ago. So make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. And make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a highway to go. When I was a young girl, oh, I had me a cowboy. It wasn't much to look at, just a free random man. That was a long time, and no matter how I tried, these dreams seem to go by like a broken down dam. So make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. And make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a highway to go. Flies in the kitchen, I can hear 'em buzzing. I ain't gone out since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening, and have nothing to say? So make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. And make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing, Lord, I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a highway to go. To believe in this living is just a highway to go.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, there's probably, wow, you've got a lot of information to share. We need some workshops because I know most of us would love to hear more about our own astrology and I know there's probably a lot of questions. Do we want to take like 2 questions or should we just let you all visit with Lynn afterwards?
Whoa.
Both. Okay, 2 questions before we wrap up. Who would like to, or comments?
So,
Yes.
so do you know what a steel tongue drum is?
Yes.
So, because you were saying everything's tuned to G, or lots of everything's that are tuned to G. So I have several, and I recently got my best one, and it's tuned to G. And I just have you worked with them at all?
I have not worked with them. I know of them, and I'm like, oh, someday. but yeah, that's wonderful. That's
A steel tongue drum. They're like hand pans,
yeah.
but they're cross between a xylophone
Yes.
and a steel drum, basically, is
Yeah.
how, and the resonance that they have on them.
So pretty.
I want to show you later. It's wonderful.
I would love that.
I just it was fascinating because, you know, tuned to G, and I'm like, it's like, I just looked mine up, it's tuned to G. I just wanted to talk about it.
Do you have it with you?
Yes, yes.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah.
Well, can you show me? I don't know what it looks like.
And then
I think you-
ask questions, it's gonna take me a
Thank you.
second to get it
Well,
out.
and on that note, what the devil told Robert Johnson, because Robert Johnson would go play. The rumor was he would go to a cemetery and play at midnight, and he'd play at midnight because the devil told him, don't look at your fingers. You need to be in the darkness with the mother, and you need to be listening. Like feel that G, feel the G, because it's healing, because it is the frequency of the sun. Just feel your way in the dark. Feel your way up that fretboard. Get to know the resonance of the sound, not where your fingers go. So is playing with sound that way. That's what the open G and blues is all about. Yes.
That's like a bit of duality if the devil was telling them how to heal. Like that's kind of blowing my mind when you just said that. Like
That's
he was the dark.
yes, and that's Capricorn has the means to teach us what to do with this matter to heal. Like it's not. They've made it like a dichotomy, but we need both. We have to be informed of this world in order to rise out of it and utilize it properly, right?
That was the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah,
You can't have one without the other.
exactly, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, one more question.
yes.
I don't know if this actually does go back to the chart. When you're speaking about the different great composers in the court of C, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, and you touched on Vivaldi, talking about the four seasons. So my quick question is, within the, the diagram there, are there predominant chords in a particular position? So, in other words, the ascendant C, and then another one is the midheaven G.
Yes.
Or is that like just not anything at all?
Yes, it's
Oh, okay.
that, yeah, that is a really
I
It's a good question.
thought
It's not
if
a
you
quick
just
question.
said, oh, it's blah, 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 that's fine, but,
I can answer very, very simply yes,
okay.
yes, and it absolutely does change. So it's just like changing. If I were to change chords and I'm tuning to a C, then I'm playing from a C. So all of my chord positions are going to change to match that.
Okay.
There's a first, a second, a third, a fourth. There's a seventh. It all breaks down from whatever key you're in.
All right.
Yeah. To answer kind of simply.
That's
And
pretty complex, it sounds
On that,
like, so.
well, and on
not
that
to worry.
note, but that's a beautiful way to explain everybody in this room. Your sun sign is not what we all see. We all see your rising, and we're all a different rising sign. We're meeting each other. We're meeting each other's rising sign every day, and your rising sign will tell you how you wake up. So as a Pisces, I wake up very dreamy, and I think about everybody in my house, and it's really hard for Pisces to wake up. Aries, yes, yeah, oh, you carry like the weight of the I don't know, all the dream world on your, it's so hard, the mornings are just so
all
hard.
Capricorns aren't like C's and all Aries are D's or anything like that.
It depends on your rising,
Okay.
and that's why they made it about sun sign, to take away from the focus on, because your rising sign sets the whole tone for your chart. It's whatever is here is what is in the cardinal position, and then it sets the other subsequent signs in cardinal positions in that placement. So it's very important. Your rising sign is really important, and that's why birth time and location are key to get that information.
Last question.
So what happens when you're double sign, like double Sag, like your rising and ascendant are the same.
So that would mean that your rising, your Sagittarius was on the rising, and it means your sun is right there. So this is just the layout of the chart. Then there's 8 planets, and they all have a certain glyph, and they'll be in your chart. So it doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means like you're super saggy. and I love Sag. I have my Sag, my moon is Sag, so, and it's at the top of my chart. And I could tell you so many things just based on that right there. There's so much. You're ruled by Jupiter, so it'd be really good to see where Jupiter is in your chart. And Jupiter is in detriment right now in Gemini. It's not a bad thing, but you might have just been going through kind of a tough year.
So
And Jupiter exalts in Pisces and rules Pisces, so that's juicy.
let's give Lynn a big hand because honestly,